Hello, this is a quick follow-up video to the one I made previously about the histogram display on the back of the Hasselblad X2D2. So while I was making that video, which is linked below, and it just compares clipping thresholds, the way they're displayed in Lightroom, Focus, and Raw Digger. But what I discovered while making that video is that you can get two different behaviors out of Focus when importing the Hasselblad images of the camera. So as most of you know, when you import through Focus or tether through Focus, you get these 3F files that are compressed. But they're lossless compression, so no data should be lost. And then you have the 3FR files that are the pure RAW. And that pure RAW file is what the Focus software likes to use for doing that new AI denoising. That doesn't seem to work on the 3F files. So in Focus version 4, a lot of people on forums have been complaining that now the software only imports 3FR files and it doesn't do the conversion anymore. So I think this is maybe not an official workaround, but I've noticed that you can get the software to do both depending on how you hook up the camera to the computer. So the first way to do it and to get the pure RAW files is to hook up the camera in mass storage mode. So I'm going to demonstrate this now. I actually have my laptop here, so I'm doing it in real time. And so when you plug in the camera, it says mass storage, and you just select that instead of going skip. And now it says mass storage. And when you launch Focus, what you'll see is that the camera is just mounted as a regular folder, and you can, browse through the files here. And what I'll do is I'll select one of them. Let's say this one, 438. And when you go to import, you can see that the file that it's trying to import is basically the 3FR file. That's the raw file. And this file is quite a bit larger than the 3F file. I'll show that in a minute. But let me unplug the camera, and I'll show you the other mode. So now with the other mode, if you just unplug the camera, and let's see what happens here. I'll plug it in again, and now the Focus software is running, and I will basically ignore the mass storage button on the camera. I'll just plug it in. Mass storage, I'm ignoring it, and now it says Focus on the camera. So when it says Focus in the software, the device shows up as a little Hasselblad icon, and the rest is the same, except it has the SSD and the main image folder, and all the files in there are still 3FRs. But if you pick one and try to import, what you'll notice is that you have the 3F file now. So if you bring that in, it will bring it in as a 3F file. So this seems like intended behavior, maybe. I don't know. It's just not very transparent. I would like to be able to plug the camera in while the Focus application is running and not have to even worry about mass storage or not, and being able to just copy the files in the format I want. So if Hasselblad could give us a little drop down to pick, it would be great. Because if you notice, for the format comparison, if you look at the same exact file, the 3FR is 211 megabytes, and then the 3F file is 148. It's definitely smaller, small and like still huge, but it's 100 megapixels. But if you have a lot of files, that extra 50 megs each will save you a lot of storage in the long run. So obviously a lot of people like this workflow, and it's sort of strange that you can't do the denoising, the AI denoising on this file format when obviously Lightroom can do it with its own AI implementation. But this is one thing I discovered. Whether everybody already knows about this or not, it's news to me. So that's why I'm making the video. But the other thing that I found interesting is the fact that Raw Digger actually displays a slightly different clipping amount between these two files. So there is something still being changed in the raw data, or that's what it seems like. And I'm not sure if that's something that is intentional with how these files are compressed, or if it's a bug in Raw Digger itself, or what's going on. But let me show you what that looks like. So here in Raw Digger, we have this 3F image. And if you look at the amount of overexposure that Raw Digger is showing, it's like 7.7%. I'm not sure if this number here is supposed to be the amount of pixels. It says 2 million. But anyway, if I go to the 3FR file, notice that these numbers have changed. Now it's 6.8. And in fact, the overexposure warning in the middle here also has changed. So if you look at both, see, there is a difference. And let me do this with the histogram on. There is something that's changing here. I'll go between. So that's the 3FR, 3F, 3FR, 3F. So that's strange, and I'm not sure if this is intended at all, if I discovered some sort of bug, or if it's just nothing and I'm crazy, which is very possible. But if anybody knows anything about this, please let me know. I would be very curious to know why there is even any difference. Because if the file is supposed to be identical from a raw standpoint, presumably Raw Digger wouldn't even budge with the data. It would just be the same thing. Anyway, that's it for this one. See you guys soon.